Hi, North Star Crochet here. Today we're going to do the tutorial for the daisy or flower bag. You can do it as a daisy, you can do it any colour that you want to, just to make it a flower. It's a drawstring pouch. You can put all sorts in it, potpourri, small change, whatever. Okay, so we're going to do that today. I have made one already in a different colour with a peach flower, so I'm going to do another one of these and then turn it into the bag. Okay, so I'm using a 4mm hook. I'm also using some leftover double knit yarn that I've got. So you need 4 different colours. You can choose any colours you want for the flower and the outer bag. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. If you know how to do a magic circle, then please do a magic circle, but I find this is just as good if you follow this. So we're going to do a slip knot and then we're going to chain 4. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. We're then going to slip stitch into that first chain there. So pull it through that and pull it through that stitch, and then you've got a circle and you're going to be working into the middle of that circle. We're going to be working 8 double crochets together into that circle. So to start it off, we're going to do 2 chain. That counts as your first double crochet. We're then going to do a double crochet into the centre. So yarn over, go through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, and yarn over and go through 2. The first stitch is a little bit different because we're starting it off with a chain, but that's your first set of 2 together, if you will. Now, as you're working round, make sure you lock this tail end in as you're working round, because that'll help you tighten up that middle loop there afterwards, which is how you get the better effect, like the magic circle. Okay, so after your first 2 together, you're going to chain 1. So there's a chain 1 in between each of these, double crochet 2 together. Okay, so then we're going to yarn over, go through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 and stop. Don't do any further because we're going to work our second double crochet and then pull them together. So yarn over, go through the centre again, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2. There we go. So now we've got our 2 double crochets with a loop at the top of each, and then we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull through all 3 loops on the hook. So that does the 2 together. So we've got 2 there, a chain 1, 2 there. So now we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do our third set of double crochets together, again trying to get that tail end locked in as we go round. So yarn over, go through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 and stop. We're then going to start our second one, so yarn over, go through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, and then we've got 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and go through all 3, and that's our third set of double crochets together. Then going to chain 1 and do our 4th set. So we're going to yarn over, go through the centre, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2 and stop. We're then going to continue with our second double crochet. So yarn over, go through the middle, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. And that's our 4th set. So remember, we're doing 2 double crochets together and then a chain space, 2 double crochets together, chain space, 2 double crochets together, chain space, 2 double crochets together, chain space, all the way around until we've got 8 2 double crochets together in total, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. So I've just done my final 2 double crochets there. I'm then going to chain my last one, and I'm going to slip stitch it into the top chain where we first began. So this is your first chain here. You've got the bottom chain and then the top chain, the second chain. So I'm going to slip stitch it into that. So you're just pulling through the stitch and pulling through the loop on your hook. Okay, and then just chain one, go and pull it through. Now, if you've been capturing that tail end all the way around, when you pull it, it should tighten a little bit. Won't tighten completely, but it has tightened a little bit. Okay, and then what you can do is weave it in through these loops here and tighten it further still. So we'll do that later. Okay, so now we're going to join our second colour, which is the flower. And I join it where we've sort of tied it off last. And this time you're going to be working into the space in between those 2 double crochets. So the spokes of the wheel, if you will. So there's 2 double crochets there. So those 2, it's going to be working in those gaps there, all the way around. So I'm going to join my colour. Now you can just tie it in a knot by joining it, but I tend to work a slip knot. I'll put my needle or my hook through, and then I'll put my slip knot on, tighten it slightly, and then I'll pull that through and just tie it on. So that's attached. And as I'm working it round, I'm going to work these 2 ends in as I go, and then I don't have to weave them in later. Right, so for round 2, we're going to be doing treble popcorn stitch. So to begin this, we're going to chain 3, and that counts as your first treble. Right, so yarn over twice, and we're going to do our second treble. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over through 2, and yarn over through 2. So that's our second treble, and we're going to do 5 of these. So yarn over twice, through there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's the third one. And then all in the same stitch, yarn over twice, pull up a loop, and then we're yarning over, pulling through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we're on our final one. Yarn over twice for the treble, pull up a loop, then yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through 2, and yarn over through 2. So now we've got 5 trebles on our hook. We're then going to give a little bit of leeway on that hoop on the hook. We're going to take our hook out, and then we're going to count back 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you should be in the top chain there. So we're going to put our hook through that top chain. We're then going to bend the petal back and grab that hoop on the hook, pull it tight, and then just pull it through, slip stitch it through so it pops it together. and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. So that's your first bubble petal. We're then going to move on to the second space in the spokes, and we're going to do the same again. So we're going to do 5 trebles in that space and then finish off the popcorn stitch. Okay, so yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2, yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2 and yarn over through 2. That's your second one, and then your third one. So on our fourth, yarn over twice, into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, oops, yarn over through 2 and yarn over through 2. That's 4, and then the fifth one, yarn over twice, pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2 and yarn over through 2. And again we're going to give a little bit of give on that hoop there. We're then going to count 5 stitches back, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're going to go through the fifth one, which is basically the first treble crochet. Go through that, we're going to pull that back, put the hoop back on the hook, and then we're going to pull it through first stitch to make our second petal, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. So basically what you're going to have is a popcorn petal, then 3 chain, popcorn petal, 3 chain, and then a popcorn petal. Makes it a bit more 3D. So I'll do one more. So we're yarning over twice, going through the next gap, pulling up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to do 4 more of those. 1, 2, 3, and then we've got 4 there, so it's just 1 more. And then again, what we're going to do when we've got to that is give a little bit of slack on that hook, on that loop, and then we're going to go to the first treble. Again, if you want to make sure it is that one, you're just counting back 5 stitches if you've done 5 double crochets. If you've done 4, you're going to count back 4 stitches. And we're going to bend that petal back, put the loop back on the hook, tighten it up, and then we're going to pull that stitch through the first, pull that stitch through the first DC to gather it, and then we're going to do 3 chain. 1, 2 and 3. So we're going to continue that all the way around, and I'll meet you back on the 8th petal. Okay, so now we've reached the last petal, and what I'm going to do is give that a little bit of slack, put it through the first treble of that petal, and then pull that through, turn it up a bit, pull it through, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first petal. So if you have a look at the top, see where the chains are there, and then in the top of that petal there is a stitch where we joined them all together. So we're just going to slip stitch into the top of that petal. So chain and then pull it all the way through. Okay, so that is your flower. I'm going to weave in the ends a little bit. Now I weaved those two through anyway, so I'm just going to chop them two off. Let me get my scissors. Now this, before I said we can make it a bit tighter, so I'm going to get my needle, thread that through, and like I say, we can make this like a drawstring by weaving it in those stitches there, and then you pull it tight and it closes the hole a bit. So weave in again. And then pull it tight, weave in, and pull it tight, and then you can chop that bit off as well. So basically it does close the hole quite dramatically. So if you can't do a magic circle or you hate doing magic circles, there is no need, you can just do it this way. Okay, now we're going to start with the leaves. So this is the third round, and we're going to be doing the green leaves. So we can join it again where the gap in between the petals. So we're going to be working our next row in the gaps between the petals, in the chain 3 spaces in between these petals. So I'm going to join it there, slip knot it. Again, if you just want to tie it on by threading it through and tying a knot, you can do. I'm just going to join that, and then this is going to be the first corner where I've tied this on. So we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets together, so that counts as 1. So I'll do a further 2 double crochets together. So we yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 but don't complete. Then we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. We've then got 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So we've got 3 double crochets together basically. So that makes up half of the first corner, and then this next one is going to be the side. I'm going to try and capture these ends in as well, so I don't have to cut them and weave them in later. So for the side, we're going to, after the leaf, we are going to chain 2 in between. So 1, 2, and then for the side it's just a single crochet. So I'm going to go through that gap and do a single crochet. We're then going to chain 2 and do another single crochet in that side gap. We're then going to move on to the next space, which is going to make up another corner. So after this one, we are chaining 2 to get to the corner. So after you've chained 2, we're going to do 3 double crochets together, 2 chain and 3 double crochets together in that next corner space. Okay, so yarn over, go into the corner space and pull up a loop, Then we yarn over, pull through the first 2 and stop. Then we're going to do our second double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2 and stop. And then we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2. And then we've got 4 loops on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and go through all 4. And that's your first 3 double crochet together. We're then going to chain 2 to make our corner, and then go around the corner, and we're going to do in the same space 3 double crochets together. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2 and stop. Do your second double crochet through the first 2 and stop. So now you've got 2 on your hook. Then you've got yarn over, pull through the first 2. So now you've got 4 loops on your hook, but 3 double crochets there, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops to bring those 2 together, and that makes up your corner. So you've got half a corner there, the side and the corner. So again, after each 3 double crochets together, we're going to chain 2 to get to the side space. On your side space, we're doing the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet, and then chain 2 to get to your next space. Your next space is a corner space, so we're going to do 3 double crochet together, chain 2 and 3 double crochet together in that space. So we're yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over through the first 2 and stop. Do your second double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2 and stop. And then we're going to do your last double crochet, yarn over through the first 2 and stop. You've then got 3 double crochet on your hook there, but 4 loops. So we're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. And then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to do 3 double crochet together in the same spot to finish that corner. Yarn over, pull up a loop through the first 2 and stop. Yarn over, pull up a loop through the first 2 and stop. Yarn over, pull up a loop through the first 2 and stop. You've got 4 loops on your hook, 3 double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, pull through all 4, and that's your leaf there. All these little double crochets make leaves. So then we're going to chain 2 to get to your next space. And this is where we do 1 single crochet, 2 chain and 1 single crochet. Oh, I yarned over there, didn't I? Let's do a single crochet and not a double. So it's a single crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet, and then chain 2 to get to the next space. Your next space is a corner, so we're going to do 3 double crochets together. That's 2, give myself a bit more yarn, and 3, and then pull them together. Then we're going to chain 2 for the corner, and then in the same chain space we're going to do another 3 double crochets together. That's 1, 2, and 3. So you've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, and then chain 2. Right, we're on the last side now. So after you've chained 2, you're doing the other side, which is a single crochet, and then 2 chain, 1, 2, and then a single crochet into the same stitch. And then to finalise that last corner, we've already done half, we're going to do 3 double crochets together. That's yarn over through the first 2 and stop, yarn over, pull up a loop through the first 2 and stop, yarn over, pull up a loop through the first 2 and stop. You've got 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, and then we're going to chain 2 to make the corner, and then we're going to slip stitch it to, that was your first chain there, so you've got your first chain, your second chain, your top chain. We're going to slip stitch into that top of that chain. Pull it through, tie it off. So that is your leaves. They'll become more like leaves when you do your next round. But that is round 3. Okay, so we're back at round 4, and we're going to start off in the corner where we left off last time. So this is becoming more like a granny square now. So I'm going to do a slip knot. I'm going to put my hook into the corner, put the slip knot on. Again, you can tie it on if you want, and then we're just going to pull it through and chain it on. Okay, right, so for this we're going to do a chain 2. That classes as your first double crochet, and then going to do 2 more double crochets in that corner. So that's 1 and 2. And that is going to make up the first corner. When we come back, we'll finish it off. And then along this first side, you've got a gap there between the petals, which was your chain 2. You've also got a chain 2 in the middle there, if you remember. So you did a single crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet, and then you chain 2 to get to the other corner. So there's actually 3 gaps here, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into each of those gaps, spaces. Okay, I'm trying to get these tail ends worked in as we go as well. Right, so we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through the second 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2, through the second 2, yarn over, and double crochet. Then going to move on to that gap in between the single crochets there. So we're yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through the second 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through the second 2, and then the third one. And then through this last gap here, yarn over, pull up a loop, and complete your double crochet. So we're doing 3 of these in this one. There we go. So that's your corner. Then you've got 3 along the side, and then we're back into the corner space now. So in the corner space we're doing 3 double crochets, 2 chain for the corner and 3 double crochets, all in that one stitch. Get yourself a bit more yarn. Okay, so 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. Then I'm going to chain 2 to turn the corner, and then we're going to work another 3 double crochets in that same stitch. So 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so now we've worked down one side, half a corner there, and we've worked the corner there. So we're going to continue. We've got 3 gaps here. So we've got that first gap at the top of the petal. We've got the gap in between the 2 single crochets. Just remember, don't go, there's that petal there, don't go underneath it, go in between the petal, the peach and the green, or whatever colour you have there. So 3 double crochets there, and then 3 double crochets in that gap. So there's 3 double crochets in that gap, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and then we're back to a corner where we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the same stitch, and then that side there's 3 gaps again to do 3 double crochets in each. Then the corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Last 3 gaps here where we do 3 double crochets, and I'm going to meet you back there. Okay, so we've got right to the end now. So we've gone all the way round, and we're joining or finishing off this last corner. So in this last corner we're going to do 3 double crochets. Okay, so that's 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to chain 2 for the corner. But because we're going to do another round, we're not going to slip stitch at this stage. What we're going to do is a half double crochet into that top chain. So we've got 1, 2, so in that top chain, push through there, oh sorry, we're going to do a half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over first, go through that top chain, and then we're going to pull up a loop, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. You could just do a slip stitch as well, but that's just another way of doing it, and then you've got your corner space there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start the next round. So we're going to chain 2 to make our first double crochet. We're then going to do 2 more double crochets into that corner space there. Yarn over, pull through 2, and then another one. So that's your first 3 into that space there. We're then going to go into each space in between each 3 double crochet from the row below. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we've got 4 spaces in between these 3 double crochets. So we're going to work 3 double crochets into each of these 4. We're then back to the corner where we do 3 double crochets, chain 2 to go around the bend, and 3 double crochets in the same stitch. And then down the next row again we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 spaces where we're going to do 3 double crochets in each of those 4 spaces. And then in the corner we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets, and I'll meet you back up here. Okay, so we've gone all the way around and I'm on my last corner there. So we've done 2 rounds of the double crochet, And then in the last corner, to finalise it, we're going to work 3 double crochet into that corner. 1, 2 and 3, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch into that top chain. Yeah, through. Yep. Go through both. There we go. So slip stitch to finish off. Chain 1. Oh, I've got it tangled there. More like. Try that again. There we go. Chain 1 to tie it off. Put it off. Pull it through. And there we go. So you can weave that end in. And then that's your square finalised. That's your other square. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure the outsides are facing outwards on each side, and we're going to single crochet around 3 sides so that the top bit is open. So after you've weaved in all your ends, we're going to single crochet all the way around and finish at that side, and then we're going to start the top of the bag. So if you're weaving your ends, and then I'll meet you back. Okay, so now we've got our 2 completed granny squares, and we're going to join them with a single crochet down each of the 3 sides, like I say. So you want the flowers facing the outside, so put the inside of the flowers together, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to join it at the corner. I'm just going to slip stitch it onto there, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do a single crochet into the corner, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So that's 1 in each stitch down until we've done all 3 sides. Trying to get that yarn in there. Right, so 2, and we're just going to repeat that all the way around down this side. When you get to the corner space, that's when we're doing the 3 single crochets in the corner space. So we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch down the side, and then when we get to the corner space, we're just going to go into the corner, not the stitches. So we're going to go through both and do 3 single crochets in the corner, and then 1 single crochet joining the 2 together there. So we're going to go down that side, and that side, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, so I've gone all the way around now on the outside, and I'm on my last stitch. So we're going to go through both. So it's through the top of the front one and through the top of the next one. Single crochet, and that's the final one. And then in this final corner, unlike the bottom 2 corners where we did 3 crochets, we did 1 single crochet in that side, so we're going to do 1 single crochet in this side to finish that off. And then what we're going to do is start working around the top. So we're going to chain 3 first of all. 1, 2, 3, and I'm just going to put that stitch marker in that top stitch there. That's where we're joining to. Right, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do 3 double crochets into each gap space around until we meet back to the beginning. So that chain counts as your first double crochet. So we've got 2 more in this corner space. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's your first lot of 3 in that corner, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into each space around. So that's your next space. 1, 2, and 3. We've got 2 there, and then that one would be your next space. So it's the spaces in between your 3 double crochets. So I'll do 1 more, 3 double crochets in the next space. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you continue all the way around into these spaces, all the way around that side until you get to that final bit, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, so we've gone all the way around and I'm on my last corner. So we're going to do 3 more double crochets into that corner space. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we're going to slip stitch into the top of that first chains that we did. So slip stitch into that. And that's the end of round 7. We're now going to start the V-stitch. So the V-stitch is made up of double crochet, chain and double crochet. The chain in the middle makes them split out a little bit, so it makes it look like a V. Okay, so without further ado, let's start round 7. So we're going to start this by chaining 3. 1, 2 and 3. That counts as your first double crochet. So we're going to put a stitch marker in that top stitch there, because that marks the first stitch of the round. We're then going to chain 1, and then we're going to do another double crochet into that same space. So double crochet, okay, and then as you can see, it kind of forms a V. Okay, so we're going to do that in each space. So in between those 3 double crochets there's a space. So in each of those spaces, we're going to be doing a V-stitch. So we're going straight back into it. So it's a double crochet. So this is what the set's made up of. A double crochet, a chain 1 and a double crochet, all in that same stitch, all in that same space. And that makes up your next V. So in your next space, we're going to do a set of double crochet, a chain and a double crochet. And again, that makes your next V. V and V. And we're going to do that all the way around in these spaces. And I shall meet you back at that stitch marker. Okay, so I've gone all the way around the top with my V stitches. I've just got 1 more gap to do. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1 and double crochet into that space. Okay. Right, so we're going to slip stitch with a new colour into the top of this stitch. Now the new colour that we're going to use, I use the same colour as my flower, but you can use any colour if you want. It's just to make the pretty little top different colour. Okay, so to change it, we're going to take the stitch marker out. We're going to put the hook through that chain, and instead of pulling this blue back through, we're going to get the new colour and we're going to pull that through. Okay, just give it a little bit of slack, and then at the back, if you've chopped your blue off, your old colour, and the tail end of your new colour, you're just going to tie that into a knot just to secure it. And we're going to work the next row like we did the row before, V-stitches into the gaps. So first of all, we're going to start off with a chain 3, and that counts as your first double crochet. We're going to put a stitch marker into the top chain, into that one there, and then just below it is your triangle, and we're going to be doing one chain for the top of the V, and then we're going to be doing a double crochet into that same stitch, and that makes your first V. There we go, your V stitch. Okay, as I said before, the gaps that you're going into, because obviously there's loads of gaps here, so that's your V stitch, which is an upside down triangle. We're not working into those, we're working into the one next door, which is the right side up triangle. So we're going to do a double crochet, a chain and a double crochet all into that same space. So double crochet, chain and double crochet. Now your next gap is actually the V stitch, so we're going to ignore that and we're going to go on to the next gap, which is the right side up triangle. So yarn over, do a double crochet and then do a chain and then do a double crochet all in that triangle space, and that's your next V stitch. So again, your next gap is the V stitch there, so we don't want to go into that. And your next gap is like a right sided up triangle, so we're going to go into that one. So it's a set of double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Chain 1 and double crochet. Right, and we're just going to continue that all the way around. Okay, so we've nearly come to the end, so we've done our V stitches. I've just got one more right side up triangle to go into. So V stitch again, it's a double crochet, a chain 1 and a double crochet all in that same space. I think next time I do a tutorial I'm going to do crochet with a clipper, and then my voice doesn't get so hoarse. Okay, there we go, that's the last one. Then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into that chain there, with the same colour. There we go, slip stitch. And that's the end of row 8. So your bag should be looking a bit more like that now. Okay, now this next round, it's round 9, it's going to be made up of the picot stitch. It's a little decorative edge. so that little decorative edge looks a bit frilly. You can use it on a lot of edgings. I did an angel, and the angel wings was made up of the picot stitch. So to begin this one, what we're going to do is we're going to chain one, and then we're going to single crochet into that same slip stitch that we did there. So just one single crochet, and then in that single crochet we're going to put our stitch marker. That's the first stitch of the round. And then what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3, and then in the third chain from the hook, so the first chain that you did, you're just going to slip stitch into that, and then we're going to do a single crochet into that gap there. Okay, so basically what that does is it bends the slip stitch back on itself. So from this now single crochet, we're going to chain 3, and we're going to do the same again. So we've chained 3, we're going into that third chain from the hook, we're doing a slip stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet in the next gap, and we're doing it in all the gaps. So into the next gap, a single crochet. Okay, so then you've got 2 little sticky outer bits, and that's the picot stitch. Picot. Right, so again, chain 3, 1, 2 and 3 into the third chain from the hoop, and then we're going to slip stitch through both of those, and then we're going to single crochet into the next gap. Don't know why the boiler's just come on. There we go. Do a couple more. So after the single crochet, we're chaining 3, 1, 2 and 3. We're doing a slip stitch into the third chain from the hook, and then we're going to do a single crochet into the next space below. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, slip stitch into the third chain from the hook, and then single crochet into the next space below, whether it be a right-sided up triangle or a upside down triangle. It's into each space, and basically the effect that you're getting is that, so it becomes a bit frilly, and we're going to do that all the way around. So it's chain 3, slip stitch into the third chain from the hook, and then single crochet into the spaces. So if you go all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the stitch marker. Okay, so we're on our final picot stitch. So we're going to chain 3 rather, chain 3, and then into that third stitch from the hook, we're doing a slip stitch. Oops. Back on there. Doing a slip stitch, and then we're going to single crochet into that last gap, and then now's the final one. So 3, and then we're going to slip stitch into that third from the hook, and then because we've got back to the stitch marker, we're not going to single crochet into the gap, we're going to single crochet into that stitch where the stitch marker is. Well, slip stitch it into that one. So slip stitch back into there, and then chain 1 and cut the yarn and pull it through. And that is your finish. Well, it's your bag finished. We've now got to do the drawstring. Right, so for the chain, which is the drawstring part of it, we're just going to chain about 60 to 65. So I'm going to try 60 first of all. And it's just basically chaining. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, pull through, 6, 7, 18, 19, 20. And rather than you hear me just counting, so I've got up to 20, and we're just going to continue doing that until we reach 60, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've done 60 chains. Depending on the size of your bag, depends on how long your chain's going to be. And the way to measure it is we're going to half it, and then we're just going to put it along one side. As long as it goes along one side and there's some tail endy bits, then that's long enough. If you want longer tail ends, you can make it a bit longer. That's fine. So I'm going to finish it off there. So to tie it off, we're going to cut the yarn. Pull it through and then just tighten it there. That's it, that's all knotted up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to thread it through your bag. So grab one end and then get it onto your needle. There we go. And then on your bag, the last colour of your bag was the first V-stitch we ever did. So if you've got a blue bag, this one's a blue bag. If you've got a white bag, then it's the last white or blue or the first V round stitch that you did. On the side, you've got your first V-stitch there. That hole is where we're going to start and end. So we're going to go into that hole first, and then when we end, we're going to be coming out of it so that your two tail ends come out of that one hole. So first of all, we're going to go in and then just pop it up. And we're just going to thread it through that row. So that's your next V. So we're going to go in front of that V and then behind the second V. So in front of that one, behind that one. So it's just weaving it in and out of the V stitches all the way around. In and out around them V stitches. And then when you get to the last one, instead of coming back through the gap, you're going to come back through that first hole where you went in. Try not to catch the other drawstring. So we're going to come through that hole there and then take it off your needle. So that's it threaded through. Let's just even it out a little bit. There we go, it's a bit more even. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our bead on to make it, to hold the drawstring together. So grab your two tail ends, let's just make those even. And then we're going to thread that onto your needle again. There we go. And then we're going to get the bead and we're going to thread that on. take your needle away. So that's your drawstring effect. Now we're just going to tie a knot in that bottom bit. I'm just going to cut that end off. There we go. And there you have your drawstring bag all finished. Hope you enjoyed the project and send me your pics in.